Cody, let's get up to speed. We've seen wild fluctuations with the used car market over the past few years. Things are extra competitive these days. Cody, when we were at your booth at NADA, there was an incredible stat about the massive reach of Autotrader, Kelley Blue Book, and Dealer.com. It was in the billions of views and billions of actual shopper sessions. Break that down for us.
Yeah, thanks for that. And that's 100% true. We see everything come across our platforms. Our teams are out in the field every day speaking to thousands of the dealers, helping them uncover opportunities, finding ways to drive more revenue, and ultimately client satisfaction. Now, I personally believe the golden ticket for dealers is that we see the good, bad, and the ugly. We also know what great looks like. And when you really boil it down, the common red thread through all of it is these three things. It's people, it's processes, and the products that they're selling.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about. Cody, we were talking earlier about a recent car shopping experience you had with your wife, and it really covered all three. I'd love for our viewers to hear this story because it's a good one.
And I will tell you, I was every salesperson's dream. I was told them I was a cash buyer. I had excellent credit. I was fully transparent about every detail. I didn't beat them up on price. Everything they needed to know to close the deal. And I was willing to drive I'll be a couple hours coming in to make the vehicle a purchase. And so ultimately, I was a lay down and it didn't go right. It went actually backwards. But, through my story, I'll just highlight that, it came down to having the right person, having the right process. And ultimately, and I will cover this in a minute, they had the right thing, which was the product that I wanted. Let's talk about dealers that say, you know what, I have people problems. Well, ultimately, it doesn't matter if you have people problems if you have the right process. And let me tell you something. So Cox Automotive, and especially Autotrader, we have proprietary softwares where our Autotrader leads are called enhanced leads. And we have a couple of terms like, especially for dealers, like actively shopping. We can see a customer, we can tell a dealer, hey, look, this person's actively shopping or ready to buy. Well, when you have that, you need to have your best people on it. Not the rookie, not the green pea that just came in, got out of training. No, I want to have my best people on that lead to make that deal happen. So, these enhanced leads, they, 59% more likely to close every single time. And they generate 36% higher close rates than our competition. Like we see that through our software. It's amazing. And gross is not a bad word. We want dealers to make money. I think it's a great thing. I used to be a dealer. I love it. And those enhanced leads, when they close, 29% higher gross profits than our nearest competitors. I mean, wow, who would not want that?
Let's talk about products. That third key ingredient, we know how competitive it is out there. And you talked about, sales coming back to, pre-COVID times. What can dealers do to help their products stand out? Like, give us some best practices because you see it all.
I do. And it's actually kind of weird and sad to say. It goes back to the basics, which is have photos, have really good competitive prices. The next thing, have video, have custom comments. These things are the basics, but ultimately be transparent and have the software that actually customers can engage you more.
And I want to ask you one more thing before we go. Enhanced leads.
Yep.
What does that change for a dealer? Like from what they're looking at, what does that lead look like that's different than the competition?
Constantly contacting. That's why they have very little contact rate or close rate on this. Now, volume might be there, but the contract. So think about us. So we have an enhanced lead, which tells them, hey, my name's Cody Gentry. I'm actively shopping or ready to buy. And in my case, I was ready to buy. I've been looking at this thing. Here's my trade-in. Here's all this information that I want to do. Here's all the processes. And I'm in bright lights, ready to buy. You don't ignore that. I'm telling you right now, if I have 10 or 20 leads sitting in my queue and I'm the best of the best, I'm that home run hitter we talked about, I'm going to go call Cody Gentry right now. And we're going to work this thing out. And guess what? They're going to make me a raving fan. I'm going to be in and out of there in 30 minutes.
Cody, I want to thank you again for talking to us today on Up to Speed.